Hello again, it's Sean from Sean's Auto Repairs in UK again. We're back on this ALFA ROMEO 156 estate, and now we've got to change the rear hub bushes because there's a little bit of play where they join the trailing arms. So I thought I'd let you come along and see how it goes. Right, these are the little bushes that we're changing in the rear hubs. They're pressing bushes. They're approximately 30, I think it's 32mm in diameter, with a 10mm or 12mm bolt through the middle. I'll confirm that later. The part number for these from first line is FSK 6957. As I say, they're a pressing bush, and I'll show you where they've got to go. So far what I have started, but I didn't think I'd filmed the first bit. Obviously taking the wheel off, then 2 bolts hold the brake caliper on, take the brake caliper off, hang that up there on a hook so it doesn't strain any of the hoses or any of the cables. Luckily then you've got 1 bolt that holds the disc on, and you can take the disc off without taking the main caliper off, which is good because the bolts for that, you can see that one there, that comes right out by the lower arm, so that would be a right pain to get out, plus it doesn't look like it's been out for a little while. So the bush that we're going to change is this bush in here. It's pressed into the bottom of the hub, and this is the end of the trailing arm, which, as you can see, goes up, and then you've got another big bush at this end, but that bush seems okay. And what we've got is we've got some play, not so much on this side but more on the other side in this bush, on this trailing arm. So we're going to take this trailing arm off, press the bush out, press the new one in, and then reassemble. So the next stage is getting this bolt out here. 19mm on the back, a 19mm socket. Right, let's get that done. First of all, we'll get the spanner on the back, socket on the front. A bit of a noise alert. That comes out nice and easily. I thought it might be rusted in the bush or something. Let's suck it in there. Let's get it out. Right, that's the bolt out there. A couple of washers that go on the end. We'll clean that up later. And now you can see that's the bolt, that's the bush there. So this one doesn't look so bad this side. And that's the trailing arm there. Right, let's see if we can push that bush out. Right, now unfortunately, with this being a 32mm bush, it's quite small. The smallest cup I've got in my bush pulling set is 64mm, which is too big. So we'll have to utilise a socket to push that out. So we'll find a socket of the appropriate size. Alright, so what I've found is a 24mm socket, which is just slightly narrower diameter than the bush itself. So we'll use that to push it out, and we'll find a slightly bigger cup to push it out. Right, so here's our setup at the moment. We've got the big cup at the back there to take the bearing. We've got this socket which is going to push the bearing or the bush through the arm into that socket, and then we've got a couple of spacers here, and then we've got the turning thread with the bearing nuts, and hopefully once I can get it moving we can get it out. Alright, now we have got it moving, and I have to keep checking to make sure that my socket doesn't get stuck in the hub. Every now and again it goes tight, so noise alert. Give it a little tap and it frees off. Just back it off a bit, make sure my socket's still loose. No, that's okay. It was a little bit tight in there, but not too hard to get out. So we're doing all right. We're heading in the right direction. As you can, I don't know whether you can see, but the bearing is coming out into that cup. The shock through the hammer just goes to loosen up the bush and the hub, makes it jog along a little bit. It's also a good way of starting a bush moving. When it's first initially very tight, you put a lot of pressure on it, give it a smack with a hammer, and you'll find it will start moving. And I think that should be about it, because there can't be much left of that bush in there. That must be right on the edge. So I'm going to back that off. I'll take this one off this end. Like so. Take the top off. Oh, and there's your bush. bar out. There we go. There we are. So that's that. That's the bush out. That's the old bush. I'll clean up around that hole, and then we'll see about putting the new bush in. Right, back in a second. Right, so that's the hole all cleaned up. So you can see in there. Focus. Come on, focus. There we go. Holes all nice and clean in there. And then what we do, we use the same procedure. Alt D enhance, zoom out. What we do, we just tap that in there a little bit initially. Right, so what I've done is I've done the same sort of thing. I've tapped that in a little bit just to start it inside the hole. Put my spacer back on there, my cups back on there. So we'll use this bush or this spacer to push the bearing into the hub. So we're all tightened up. So with a bit of luck, should go in nice and straight. Now some people use air tools on these bolts, but I find air tools are a little bit aggressive, and unless you've got like a good quality set, I mean this is only a cheap set off eBay, you'll find that you ruin the threads. So at least using with a spanner or a ratchet even, you can feel what you're doing and you know, change what you're doing if it doesn't feel right. But this is going in okay. What I'll do is I'll probably put you on fast speeds, fast forward until we get it in. Right, we'll just back that off and we'll have a look. Take that one off that end. As you can see, right, so as you can see, we're just off and flush that side, and we have a little bit sticking out that side, but I think we're all good. It's pretty even both sides, so it's reassemble time. Right, and there we are, all bolted back together again. If you can remember, the bolt was in the other way when we took it off, so the bolt's in the right way now, from the disc side inwards, because otherwise this point here, it gets very close to the disc if it's sticking out inside. So that's all nice and tight. I did jack it up put some, lift the hub up to tighten the bush up before I tightened it up fully, so it's resting in its driving position, so to speak. And I'll show you the disc. The disc itself just slots in without taking the caliper bracket off, which is the result. Right, so the rest of it's just nuts and bolts. I'm going to bolt this back on, bolt the caliper back on, put the wheel back on, and then we're on to the next side, which is the same as this one, so I won't bother filming that unless I have any sort of hiccups. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps.